What a magnificent opportunity I have today. I'm J.B. Bryan, and I'm the President and Chief Investment Officer at J.B. Bryan Financial Group, the home of my strategic financial plan, Afro Economics. And I'm committing this moment, these moments, this time to today's Black men. I want to thank you for representing such a large part of Afro Economics, and I just want to thank you for holding it up and holding things down, right? I am the descendant of strong, intelligent, supportive, and insightful Black men. My father, my father's father, my father's father's father. They gave each other the initiative and the energy and the power and the commitment to push through and to create a father like mine. And because of my father, I can't help but celebrate the goodness of today's Black man. I am so thankful to have had such a conscious and powerful and intelligent father. Because it seems like daily, the headlines make it easy for us to see you as a victim. But when I look at you, today's Black man, I see strength. I see you carry the nation on your back. I see peace. I know that you calm the world, and your presence makes the entire planet feel protected. And I see a fearless warrior whose amazing and most powerful weapon is his relationship with God. And I see a king who owns all of civilization and takes responsibility for it. Today's Black man, that's our discussion, our topic, my presentation, all of my energy for these next few minutes are all about you and the goodness of today's Black man. You are revolutionary. You have the power to create the change we need in this world. Gil Scott-Heron, poet and musician, Gil Scott-Heron said, the revolution will not be televised. You may remember that or you may not. It was in 1970. But he also said, nobody can do everything, but everybody can do something. Yes, indeed. And nobody can rap like Gil Scott-Heron. See, here's what he said. He said, you will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and Skip or skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. You are a unifier. Brothers, you encourage us to build in solidarity. Solidarity makes me think of one of the original Black Panthers. And I'm not talking about the Hollywood movie and all of that just came out a couple years ago, but the Black Panther Party that was committed to our community and developing after-school programs and building up confidence of young Black people and building up the confidence of adult Black people. Well, Fred Hampton, one of the Black Panther's original leaders, well, the warrior was killed by law enforcement agencies as he slept. He was only 21 years old. Fred Hampton was a revolutionary that believed in bringing us together through serving and protecting the community, especially our babies. In a speech, Mr. Hampton said, "We don't think you fight fire with fire best. We think you fight fire with water best. We're going to fight racism, not with racism, but we're going to fight with solidarity." He also went on to say, "You can jail a revolutionary, but you can't jail the revolution." That's Fred Hampton. I've heard that later this year, 2020, a movie is going to be released about his life. So let's look out for that. But make sure that you research Fred Hampton. Today, as I salute you, our Black men, for being forgiving, you are indeed the unifier, the revolutionary, and you're forgiving. When I think about your ability to forgive, I think about Kendrick Lamar's Pride song. Kendrick Lamar was indeed the first hip-hop artist to win a Pulitzer Prize. And the song Pride was on that award-winning album. Kendrick Lamar says in that song, "A perfect world is never perfect, only filled with lies. Promises are broken and more resentment come alive. Race barriers make inferior you and I. See, in a perfect world, I'll choose faith over riches." Indeed, thank you, my brother, for believing in justice and equality. Thank you for believing in our future, even when it looks like a dead end. And to look at the dead end would be so much easier to see. It takes strength to still make plans when the national headlines try to convince you you have nothing to plan for. It was on August 28th, 1963, during the March on Washington. And I really never thought about, what were they marching for? But in 1963, for what is known as the March on Washington, it was the March for Jobs and Freedom. And Martin Luther King Jr. spoke these words. See, brothers, you believe, but before I even tell you what Martin Luther King said, you really have believed. You're just believers. You have the faith. You've kept going. You've persevered. You have gone through trials and made it through. Okay, now here's what Martin Luther King Jr. said. "We refuse to believe the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity of this nation. So we have come to cash this check, a check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice. We have also come to this hallowed spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now. This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off or to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to open the doors of opportunity to all of God's children. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood." That was Martin Luther King in 1963. Thank you, my brothers, for hanging in there with me this long. Thank you for being humble and fair. You are so many powerful things. Thank you for being a peacemaker when no one seemed to care. Thank you for speaking up and bringing us together. Yes, you, my brother from another mother, yes, you are needed to change the world. On March 12, 1964, Malcolm X shared a speech titled The Declaration of Independence. Here's what he says. I love this speech. And this is just a portion of it. He says, "I do not pretend to be a divine man, but I do believe in divine guidance, divine power, and in the fulfillment of divine prophecy. I am not educated, nor am I an expert in a particular field, but I am sincere, and my sincerity is my credential. I'm not out to fight other Negro leaders or organizations. We must find a common approach, a common solution to a common problem. As of this minute, I've forgotten everything bad that the other leaders have said about me, and I pray they can also forget the bad things I've said about them. The problem facing our people here in America is bigger than all other personal or organizational differences. Therefore, as leaders, we must stop worrying about the threat that we seem to think we pose to each other's personal prestige and concentrate our united efforts towards solving the unending hunt that is being done daily to our people here in America. And Malcolm X goes on to say, concerning nonviolence, it is criminal to teach a man not to defend himself when he is the constant victim of brutal attacks. It is legal and lawful to own a shotgun or a rifle. We believe in obeying the law. In areas where our people are the constant victims of brutality and the government seems unable or unwilling to protect them, we should form rifle clubs that can be used to defend our lives and our property in times of emergency, such as happened last year in Birmingham, Lake Mine, Louisiana, Cambridge, Maryland, and Danville, Virginia. When our people are being bitten by dogs, they are within their rights to kill those dogs. We should be peaceful, law-abiding, but the time has come for the American Negro to fight back in self-defense whenever and wherever he is being unjustly and unlawfully attacked. If the government thinks I am wrong for saying this, then let the government start doing its job. Speak. That was Brother Malcolm X. Speak, speak, speak. I am so thankful for this opportunity to celebrate today's Black man. Your relationship with God is your strength. I know it's my strength. The strength of God, may the strength of God always be with you. You are the father of all civilization. When God created man in his likeness, it is no surprise he chose you. You are the GOAT, the greatest of all time. When I found out that GOAT meant greatest of all time, I was like, wow, I've really found out something, right? You are the greatest of all time. Let's think about sports a little bit. Who are greatest in sports? We could probably argue about that, but I have the microphone. To me, it's LeBron. There's also Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Well, LeBron James really stepped up for the kids of Ohio. In 2011, after researching the high school dropout rate for his hometown, LeBron James decided to create I Promise, an initiative, a nonprofit, a foundation focused on supporting the youth in his childhood community. And this is for you, the hometown hero. That's you, the brother listening right now. It can't be done without you. And I know that you can't do everything, but you are certainly doing your thing. Thank you for all of the Little League teams and the AAU teams and drives home and the fees that you pay for someone else's child so that they could go also. And on behalf of all of the Black young men you have mentored and coached and got all the way to college and through college and beyond, I thank you, today's Black man. Think about also the great basketball player, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He says, here's a quote from him, "I think the good and the great are only separated by the willingness to sacrifice." Now that really touched me. I said, that brother has said that right there. I think the good and the great are only separated by the willingness to sacrifice. Now, ain't that true? And check out the mind behind Michael Jordan. No, Michael Jordan has been quoted as saying, "One day, you might look up and see me playing the game at 50. Well, he's way past that, right? But he said, "One day, you might look up and see me playing the game at 50. He said, "Don't laugh. Never say never, because limits, like fears, are often just an illusion." Well, he's over that 50 now, and he has no limit. Got his own team. He's doing his thing. He's doing it. But some people want it to happen. Some wish it would happen. Others make it happen. Who said that? Michael Jordan. And there is no I in team, but there is an I in win. Another nice quote from Michael Jordan. Let's win, and let's create that winning team. That was J.B. Bryan. So some of us remember when Michael Jordan stopped playing basketball because he wanted to play baseball for a minute. Now that is freedom. Freedom. Working hard creates options and opportunities. And Jordan eventually went back to the basketball court, but like he says, some people want things to happen, some people wish things happen, and others make it happen. You make it happen. My brother, you make it happen. You not only have the willingness to sacrifice, but you sacrifice and you speak your truth fearlessly. Like Bob Johnson. Y'all know Bob Johnson? Bob Johnson is the founder of Black Entertainment Television. He became America's first Black billionaire after selling BET to Viacom. So just a few weeks ago, early June 2020, Mr. Johnson spoke the truth when he said the U.S. government should provide $14 trillion of reparations for slavery to help reduce racial inequality. He's quoted as, "Wealth transfer is what's needed," he argued. Yes, indeed. Think about it, he says. Since 200 plus years or so of slavery, labor taken with no compensation is a wealth transfer. Denial of access to education, which is a primary driver of accumulation of income and wealth, is a wealth transfer. Now this is Johnson. This is Bob Johnson, our first billionaire, says this. Johnson goes on to say, now is the time to go big. Keep America from dividing into two separate and unequal societies. Well, that's to be continued. But thank you, my dear brother Bob Johnson, for showing up, showing out, speaking up, and taking that step to speak your truth. Let's speak now. I believe that you are the change that you seek in the world. You are the change. You are the change. And I want the handcuffs off. I want the knees off your neck. I want you to breathe clearly and deeply. Nelson Mandela was jailed in South Africa for 27 years because he wanted to stop apartheid. He wanted to end a system of racism in South Africa. Apartheid. Systematic racism. So after being in jail for almost those 30 years, Mandela is able to get out, leads his people out of apartheid, an ugly system of discrimination against the Black people of South Africa. And Mandela, in his freedom, says, when a man is denied the right to live the life he believes in, he has no choice but to become an outlaw. And I guess that's why he spent so much time in jail, standing up for what he believed in. Here is a quote from Nelson Mandela that you deserve to hear today as we continue to make moves to end systematic racism in our country. Mandela tells us, I have walked the long road to freedom. I have tried not to falter. I have made missteps along the way. But I have discovered the secret that after climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. I have taken a moment here to rest, to steal a view of the glorious vista that surrounds me, to look back on the distance I have come. But I can only rest for a moment, for with freedom come responsibilities, and I dare not linger, for my long walk is not ended. Yes, indeed, that was Nelson Mandela. We have a lot to do. I have committed my entire career to pulling up the wealth in the Black community. I do not want to die with a wealth gap that exists that scientists and statisticians have almost guaranteed will only get bigger. Well, not on my watch. We must be determined. Determination, that's the 9th principle of Afro Economics. Determination is the key. A great example of a determined man is Bryan Stevenson. Now, Bryan Stevenson. Yes, indeed. Have you read the book or enjoyed the movie called Just Mercy? Well, Just Mercy is based on a true story about Bryan Stevenson and his Equal Justice Initiative and his group's determination to get innocent people out of prison. So Attorney Stevenson says, there is a strength, a power even, in understanding brokenness, because embracing our brokenness creates a need and desire for mercy, and perhaps a corresponding need to show mercy. When you experience mercy, you learn things that are hard to learn otherwise. You see things you can't otherwise see. You hear things you can't otherwise hear. You begin to recognize the humanity that resides in each of us. That's Bryan Stevenson. He also quotes, here he goes. I hope that this quote from Bryan Stevenson will touch your heart the way it touched mine. He says, I've come to understand and to believe that each of us is more than the worst thing we've ever done. I believe that for every person on the planet, I think if somebody tells a lie, they're not just a liar. I think if somebody takes something that doesn't belong to them, they're not just a thief. I think even if you kill someone, you're not just a killer. And because of that, there's this basic human dignity that must be respected by law. Those are the words from our brother, Bryan Stevenson. Wonderful, wonderful. Afro Economics is successful because of you. More than 50% of the participants in Afro Economics are Black men. Afro Economics is about self-reliance. So I'm hoping that that's why you find it so attractive, because we're focusing on being independent, being free, you carrying it as you always do. I believe that everything that we need, we already have available to us. We just merely need to use it, maximize the resources that we have available. I know that my life didn't change until I discovered the value of my time, not allowing anything to pull me away from my purpose, my requirement that I feel that I have to do, the people I have to help, because there's so many things that can pull us off focus daily. In my opinion, our financial success, our life success, our success as the person that we dream about being, it lives in our ability to maximize our time. I have survived so many failures. And when you look at it, you think about people that we see as successful. If you really look at their story, they'll have a lot more failure than you can even imagine. It just comes down to their ability to get up again. That song, it says, get up. You got to get up one more time. I think even Denzel Washington talks about that, if you get knocked down 10 times, get up 11. I thank God that I was able to move through what I felt were horrible disappointments in my life expeditiously and with determination to stay the course of growing every minute of my life. And I mean it seriously. I spend each day living my dream completely, and I challenge and encourage you to do the same. Although I believe that financial independence is important, self-reliance is important, our Black wealth matters on the cover of my book, but the movement involves more than money. It includes our relationship with God, our health, our family, staying the course, keeping yourself healthy. Real wealth includes mastering ourselves, our discipline, mastering our craft, keeping our skills on top, committing to excellence over and over, lifetime learners. That's us, my brother. Real wealth means that we as a people make a commitment individually and as a group to make this planet a better place. I want you and me to be Black and proud of ourselves and pity any person who would discriminate against us because of it. Afro Economics is about destroying poverty and destroying that poverty mindset. It tries to ravage our communities. We want to enhance the Black family and build the Black family. Afro Economics is about loving our community and loving all of the people that we live with and live around. I believe the principles of Afro Economics will destroy the stereotype of a Black underclass, and it will build the Black community up and help us be financially confident and aggressive contributors to this planet. I pray that you, today's Black man, will feel the love and the encouragement and commitment that I have to your success. I hope that the words that I shared today will be inspirational. It will be something that you can share with your son and your son's son. I want to develop a legacy of commitment to excellence through Afro Economics, through my work. But I just want to make sure that today you receive this as you're not a headline to me. You are me. You are my family. You are my father. You are my brother. You are my son. You are everything that God brought you here to be, and that is great. May peace and blessings of God cover you all the days of your life. From all of us at JB Bryan Financial Group, a registered investment advisory firm and the home of Afro Economics, I'm JB Bryan. Afro Economics is a strategic financial management program designed for the advancement of Black wealth in America and abroad. Afro Economics. Join Afro Economics, where our Black wealth matters. Free online events and app. Discover culturally conscious investing and financial planning, credit, tax planning, insurance, and starting your own business. Call me at 1-844-522-7926. I'm JB Bryan, the creator of Afro Economics. Hashtag Afro Economics. Hashtag JB Bryan.